Namaskar and welcome. My name is Sandhya, and I will be guiding you through your yoga practice for this morning. Today we'll be doing a simple flow to encourage blood flow, to increase blood oxygenation, and bring greater mental clarity as well as greater body awareness. So as we're going through the flow, I'll offer modifications and support where possible, but I always encourage you to listen to your body first and make the modifications where you need. So we'll begin with our centering to bring ourselves into this moment, making ourselves receptive and open to our yoga asana practice for today. Closing the eyes and finding a comfortable seated position. And we're going to begin by bringing the attention to the breath. Just noticing the inhale and the exhale. And if the breathing is shallow, see if you can lengthen the inhale and the exhale. And feel with each breath, you're bringing in oxygen, prana, and greater peace to the mind and body. And then we'll bring our focus to the center of the chest, our heart space. As we invoke the presence of all of our guides and masters of light, including our own Guru, Sri Vasudeva. May we continue to feel guided and protected, and may we always be worthy of the divine grace. We'll open our practice with 3 Oms. Just gently breathing out. And in. We gently open our eyes when we feel ready. We're going to prepare ourselves for our pranayama exercises. So first, we'll begin, before we get into the exercises, with a cleansing breath to expel any stale oxygen that's built up in our lungs overnight and to continue to energize the body. So breathing out through the mouth, and I invite you to notice as the breath comes in through the nostrils, if you can become aware of the subtle energy, the prana behind the breath, and how that continues to move beyond when the physical exhalation or inhalation is finished. So paying special attention to what is happening in the subtle body. and relaxed, breathing normally. And again, we just observe. Just take a time to just be aware of any experience, of any feeling, anything that's happening in that inner space. And then we gently open our eyes and we'll move into our first pranayama exercise. This is called our 8-stroke breath. And this is for energizing the body. It's more importantly for stress relief or mental relaxation and clarity. Often when we're very strained in the mind and the mind is busy and active, bringing it to an exercise such as this one focuses the mind and allows the other busyness to fall away. The same way when you see an artist painting such detailed art or a dancer doing a very intricate dance, we bring that clarity and that awareness in the mind. So essentially the inhale is divided into 8 parts, 8 strokes or 8 sips of air as we're inhaling. It's very similar to the 3-part yogic breath, but instead of doing it in the 3 parts with the belly, chest, and clavicular area, we do it in 8. So we try to make them 8 even breaths, and we want to be aware that we're doing the 8 breaths, so that mental focus and attention is needed. We'll do a few rounds, but of course, do go at your own pace and take any rest you need to. We'll do a cleansing breath out, and then we begin. And we relaxed here, breathing normally. Normal deep breaths in and out through the nose. Observing and being aware. Okay, and then we gently open our eyes when we feel ready. And our final pranayama exercise is our alternate nostril breath, Adishodhana. This is when we block one nostril and exhale out through one as we inhale through the other. This is to bring balance to both sides of our body, the heating and cooling energies that come, and both sides of the brain as well, the passive as well as the active parts. So I'll demonstrate a hand mudra, but of course a hand position. But of course, as long as you're able to block both nostrils, you can choose to do it however works for you. So I tuck in my index finger and my middle finger, and I'm using my ring and pinky and my thumb to do the blocking. My other hand, my left hand, is just relaxed on my lap. I'll start by plugging the right, and then I exhale normally out through the left. Inhale through the left. Plug the left, hold the breath, retain. Then we release the right, exhale. Inhale through the right. Plug and hold both. Exhale through the left. Slow, deep inhale through the left. Plug and hold. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Plug and hold. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Plug and hold. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Plug and hold. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Plug and hold. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Plug and hold. And exhale through the left. You slowly can take the hands from the face and take one final time, regulating the breath, breathing normally, deep inhales and exhales. One final observation, noticing how you felt beginning and now how you feel at the end of the pranayama practices. Maybe you feel more clarity of mind, more peace, more energy. And then we gently open our eyes and we'll move into our warm-up. So if you happen to be sitting on a cushion or a block or anything like that, or even a chair for our exercises, you can just move that aside and come to a seated position. We're going to stretch our legs out in front of us and just give them a little bit of a shake. Hands on the sides of our body if you need to, just to support your back. Point one toe, flex the other back, foot back towards you, and then switch. Point the other foot, flex the other one back. Just take a few more moments here. Good. Give the legs one final shake out. And then let's come onto our hands and knees if we're able to. If you need to provide additional cushioning under the knees, you can double up a mat. I actually have two here, or you can just add a roll up. You could just roll up your mat with what you have here, or a cushion even. So with our hands flat, palms flat, shoulders over the wrists, and we want our hips over our knees as flat back as possible. Using our breath here, we'll do our cat-cow series for spinal flexibility. So we'll exhale, belly draws in, chin drops down. And then we inhale, belly drops, gazing up towards the ceiling. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale, one more. And inhale. Then we'll come back to our neutral spine. And we're going to try and introduce a little bit of warmth and heat into our body by engaging our navel. So we're going to pick up the left leg and extend it back behind you. Maybe your toes are still resting on the floor for support, or maybe you can pick them up. Our leg to come at hip height. And maybe we stay here, focusing on keeping the hips in line with each other and the back straight. Or maybe we try and straighten that right arm and we come into our extended table. We don't lose our breath here, so we keep that breath awareness and that focus. Our gaze is somewhere on the floor in front of us. Holding and breathing. And maybe we stay here, or if you would like an additional challenge, you reach around with that right hand and you try and grab that foot, opening up the chest. You deciding if that works for you or if you'd like to stay here. And then we'll bring the hand down. If you need to shake out the wrists in just a few breaths, you can do so. And we prepare for our other side. First, we just extend the leg back, toes down, or we pick up the toes, hips in line with each other, legs not really high. We find our focus, and then maybe we pick up that left arm now. Keep deep breaths here. Bringing awareness to every muscle and how it's working to hold us in this posture. Feel the strength in the arm and in the leg and in the navel. And we bring our hand back down, or if we need to, or we reach back behind. And if we'd like to give ourselves that additional challenge. You decide if that works for you. Otherwise, maybe just holding it, maybe bringing the hand down for the break. And then our hand comes down. And again, giving the wrists a little bit of a shake. We're going to come into something called a toe squat, not for too long. You're going to turn your toes under your feet. So as if you're flexing your feet onto the mat, and you're going to sit back on your heels. So my toes are turned under here. And I'm going to try and sit back on my heels. I'm adding a little weight. So this creates a very deep stretch in the bottom of our feet in the arch and in our toes. We don't often stretch these areas and these muscles. But considering how much we walk on our feet and how much we rely on them to take us everywhere we need to be, it's good to give them an opportunity to stretch. Holding and breathing. Good. And we're going to walk our hands back to our tabletop. And we're going to come into our downward dog. We're not going to be there for long. So I'm going to lift my hips up, shift my weight back towards the feet. And then in my downward dog, so I'm trying to make a nice V with my back and my legs. I'm going to walk my feet forward, bending the knees as much as I need to come into a really gentle forward fold here. So if your hands don't comfortably reach the floor, you can grab opposite elbows and let the head hang in between that space as well. If you had a block or a cushion or anything to heighten the floor, you could rest your hands on that. Notice the stretch along the back of the legs, maybe a stretch in the lower back, allowing gravity to do the work here. And then we tuck our chin into our chest and let's slowly come up to a rise here. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last to come up, and then we roll our shoulders back. So we'll continue with our warm-up by doing our Surya Namaskars, our sun salutations. We'll start a little bit slower and maybe we'll pick up the pace. Again, we're always working with our own bodies. So hands by the sides, palms turning out. Inhale, hands reach up. And exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant the palms. We're going to step the right leg back. Coming into our lunge, maybe dropping onto our back knee or maybe staying up. And then we're going to retain the breath if we can as we come into our plank position. So we drop onto our knees, then bring our chest and our chin down. Tailbone is still high. And then we inhale up into our cobra, releasing the feet down. So it can be a small cobra. You still need to warm up your spine. And then we're going to exhale back. So we're going to exhale back into our down dog. So if you need to come onto your knees first and then push back into your down dog, you can do that as well. And then we're going to inhale that right leg forward again as much as we can. If we need to, we can bring the knee down and heel toe the foot so we get into that lunge as much as possible. And then with our next exhale, we try and step that foot forward, coming into that forward fold. Then we're going to inhale the hands up and back. And then exhale the hands down by our sides. So now we do our left side. Inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands together. Inhale the hands back. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, left leg back, dropping onto the knee if we need to. Then let's step the right leg back to meet it, retaining the breath if we can, dropping onto the knees, chest and chin. Inhaling up. And then we exhale back, coming onto our knees as a transition to our down dog if we need to. And then we're going to step the left leg forward. So if we need to come onto our knees again and bring that left leg forward, we can do that. And then we're going to exhale, right leg joins. Inhale, hands coming up, feeling that breath. And we exhale, our hands back down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, retaining the breath first, finding that plank position. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg forward, lunge. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reaching back. And exhale, hands together and down. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, left leg back, lunge. Retain the breath in our plank position. Knees, chest, chin, exhale. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg forward to lunge. Exhale, right leg joins forward fold. Inhale, hands coming up and back. And exhale, hands down. We'll do one more each side. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, right leg back. Retaining plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, inverted V. Inhale, right leg forward. Exhale, left leg joins. Inhale, up and back. And exhale, hands down. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg back. Retaining the breath, plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg forward, lunge. Exhale, right leg joins, forward fold. Inhale. And exhale, hands down by your sides. Closing the eyes. Bringing the feet hip distance if they're not already there. And we take a few breaths here. If you're familiar with the Ujjayi breath, you can do that now. Breathing slowly and deeply. And we gently open our eyes, turning back forward. While we're standing here, we'll do a few standing postures. We're going to first take a step with our left leg in front. Right toes are pointing towards the long side of your mat. Left toes are pointing towards the short side. We're going to come into our triangle posture. So arms come out, shoulder height T position. You need to adjust your legs, but it's about double a leg stance, a normal stance for your legs. Hinging from the hips, we reach that left arm forward, reaching as far as you can. Feel that extension before you bring the hand down. Palm faces out. And that right hand comes up. You want a straight line with your arms. And a straight left leg, but the knee isn't locked. Gaze can be up or down. If you need to feel a little more grounded in this posture, looking down helps with grounding. And then we hold and we breathe here. Feel the strength in our side body as it stretches and it holds us here. Feel the stretch of the arms and feel the power of your body to hold this posture. Good, and then we're going to slowly inhale back up, arms coming up. We're going to bend into that front knee. Our right arm can either slide down the back of the leg, or you can take it and rest it palm facing out on the lower back. Bending into that front knee as much as you can, we reach the left arm back. Reversing our warrior here. Feeling the stretch of the side body, the other side body, and the stretch in the other direction here. Looking up, or again, to ground ourselves more, we can look down at that back leg. So we try and maintain the awareness of our breath, slow and deep breath. Good, and then we're going to inhale the hands back up. We're going to turn our feet in towards each other, bringing the hands to the hips. And we're going to come into a forward fold, wide-legged, a wide-legged forward fold. So start to first hinge from the hips forward. Again, the legs are not locked. There's a looseness to them, but they're straight. And there's still a strength in the muscles of the legs. And we hinge forward. And then when we reach a place that feels enough for our bodies, we can bring our hands down. So you could bring your hands down onto a block or a cushion or even a chair if you're not able to reach that far. Maybe feeling a stretch along the back of the legs here. Another inversion. So we did the downward dog, we did the forward fold. This is another inversion here. Inversions are good for bringing oxygen back to the heart in an easier way, bringing oxygen to the brain. And they're known for being good at relieving stress and mental tension. Good. Now we're going to slowly come up a little bit. And from here, we're going to add a twist to our forward fold. So again, if your hands are on a block or a cushion, you can still do this. We're going to bring our left hand to the center of wherever our hands are resting. And we're going to try and pick up that right arm, lifting it up to the ceiling, maybe turning to look at that hand. We can always look down if we need to ground, we need to help with our balance and our rooting down. But we want to feel a twist in our spine here and our shoulders and opening. Feeling the chest stretching here. And then we'll bring the hand back down. Other side. Bringing the right hand to the center or wherever the hand is resting, and we pick up the left. Twisting open. Holding and breathing here. And then the hand comes back down. And because we've been in a forward fold for a bit, we want to be careful and aware with our bodies as we slowly come up to a rise. So supporting yourself as much as you need to with the cushion or the chair that you happen to be using, and then bringing the hands to the hips when you're able to and come up to a rise. Tucking the chin in and then the head comes up last. So just working with your own body to not give yourself a rush of blood to the head too quickly. And now we're going to come to this flow on the other side. So now my right toes are pointing to that short side of my mat, and my left feet are already lined up how they need to be. Shoulder height, and we find our triangle posture. Reaching, again, feeling that stretch before we fold. Hand, palm facing out, comes to the foot, bringing the arms in line with each other, and then we find where we need to look to give ourselves the best version of this posture. That our breath is not strained, Our body has the excitement of a challenge, the energy and vitality of the muscles working to their capacity, but with no discomfort or strain on the nervous system or on the body. Enjoy the stretch. Enjoy the power of the body. Good, and then we'll slowly bring ourselves back up. And then we bend into that front knee as much as we're able to. And we do our reverse warrior. Hand slides down or at rest, palm facing out on the lower back. And now we stretch the other way, feeling the strength of the muscles in the core, in the navel center. Feel the stretch and the strength. Feel the heat as the body works. Good, and then we'll come back up, straighten the legs. And we're going to turn that other foot out. So instead of coming into another forward fold, our feet are now going to be pointing towards the corners of our mat. So they're not parallel like they were before, but on a bit of an angle. And then we're going to come into a bit of a squat, so bending the knees. It doesn't need to be deep, but we're starting to bend our knees. And what's most important is we're trying to keep awareness and attention in the muscles of our inner legs as they try and hold the knees open. So often we don't sit like this. We don't often stretch these inner thigh muscles in the ways that we sit in our chairs and at our desks and that sort of thing. Our hip flexors are also working a little bit here as well. Now we're going to bring our hands either to our heart center. They can stay at your hips for balance if that's enough for you, or they can come to your heart center. Or if you'd like to take it even further from here, you bring your arms, elbows at shoulder height, and you're going to continue to try and push your elbows back, chest forward, the same way that your knees are pushing back, you're trying to push your elbows forward. Holding it here, feeling the challenge, feeling the strength, feeling the vitality of the body as it works to find this new position and hold it as the muscles work to keep you here. And enjoy the challenge. See if you can enjoy the challenge of the body as long as there's no pain and there's no incredible discomfort. We bring our hands to our heart center if they were up. Hands can come to the hips and we straighten the legs. And then we give everything a little bit of a shake here. Good. And we're going to come and find a spot back on our mat. So we're going to inhale the hands up. Maybe add a back bend if you like and you feel the need, and then we're going to fold forward. Plant the palms, bend the knees, step the feet back and come right onto the knees here. Tabletop position, we know that one. And then we're going to sit back on the heels. Bring the knees as wide as you can do so comfortably. We're going to find our wide-legged child's pose. So if you do have a block here and your hips are a little bit tighter, this would be a good time to bring that block or that cushion in between the feet and sit back on this. And you can heighten it as much as you need to. Then we're going to stretch the hands out in front of us. And we're going to try and bring our forehead to the mat if we can. We can also stack our palms or our fists to give us a little bit more height. Then we take a few breaths here. Just giving the body a little bit of an opportunity to relax. Moving into our more passive part of our yoga practice, our asana practice. After introducing the heat and the activity, we now come into the passive postures. So we need both to find the complete balance to our bodies. Then we're going to slowly walk the hands back towards us and come and sit up. Coming to a comfortable seated position, we'll introduce a few energetic tapping exercises. So tapping, which many people are familiar with, especially the emotional freedom technique, a certain form of tapping in series, is a great way to energize the body, bring clarity to the mind. It's a way of interacting with the energy channels in our body. And when we tap on them, we stimulate them. And in most of the time, we're working to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, our more passive part of our bodies, to bring in greater relaxation, greater peace, less stress, so to reverse the effects of stress or mental strain that we often feel when we get caught up in our challenges and in our conditioning behaviors. So we'll do 4 tapping exercises, which I love, and I often do almost unconsciously when the body's missing something or it needs some sort of grounding or greater energetic boost. So the first one is the cheekbones. This is a really good exercise for grounding and bringing awareness back to the body. So taking us out of a cycle in the mind. Often with anxiety, and how anxiety is treated in a more natural way is through exercises of grounding and bringing us back to a more body awareness, as well as subtle body awareness space. And then we'll take our fingertips and we'll start to tap at our collarbone, but just below the collarbone. This is the K27 point. This one is for overall bringing more energy and alert and wakefulness. But this has also been said for encouraging the natural flow of energy in our body. So we know we're energy beings. We know we have all these energy channels that flow and are what drives the body. And this encourages a positive and a healthy flow. And often, if you notice one of these tapping feels really good to you and your body, it may be something that you need in that moment. Okay, and then we'll come to the middle of our chest. So this is the thymus thumb. And the thymus is what produces the T cells for our immune system. So as a way to boost our immune system, we tap here. And our last one is our spleen. So it's just about at the bottom of the ribs. If you feel the bottom of the ribs here at the front of your body, and then you move your hands across just under the armpit, this is about where the spleen is. And the spleen is interesting because it's for metabolizing, but not just metabolizing of food, which we think for our bodies, but metabolizing of energy, of thoughts, and emotions. The energy of the thoughts and the emotions. And you may notice this area is a little more sensitive. You can be aware of that and conscious. And again, notice how each of these different tappings feels on the body before and after. Good. Good. And then we just can relax from here. Turn the palms facing up. And we just take a few deep breaths here through the nose. Okay, and then we open the eyes very gently here. We'll come off of our cushion or anything that we were sitting on. And we're going to bring our legs out in front of us as much as we can. So we're going to come into a regular forward fold. And I always enjoy this because of the feeling and the experience that my body gets from a forward fold. So again, the passivity of it brings a greater peacefulness to the body, but just the overall stretch and the energy, I often feel is very beneficial. So if you have very tight legs, you can take a cushion below the knees, and that allows the knees to be supported if they need to bend a little bit. With the back as straight as you can do so, we reach the hands up, and then we try and hinge from our hips. And we try and keep our back first as straight as possible. And then when we can't keep it straight anymore, we let the hands fall where they need to. So we can hold onto the ankles or maybe hooking the peace fingers, the index and the middle around the big toes. But try not to pull here. Let's try and keep this posture as passive as possible. And just allow the body to relax into it. We don't want our muscles working here necessarily in an active and heat generating way. Rather, we just want to allow gravity to support us into a deeper posture. Again, breathing here deeply through the nose and out through the nose. As our postures begin to be more passive, if you notice the mind scattering a little, you can always bring it back with a mantra or an awareness of the breath. Okay, and then slowly, you can uncurl the spine here, and we can slowly roll up. Taking our time. Good. And then to do the opposite, to bring balance, after folding forward, we do a bit of a chest opener back bend to get the opposite movement in the body. So we're going to come onto our back and we're going to do our bridge pose. So bending the knees, soles of the feet plant on the floor. And we take a breath here first. Palms planting onto the mat here. Bringing the soles of the feet as close to your hips as you can. And then working with our own breath here, on your next exhale, we lift the hips up. Pressing into the soles of the feet, pressing into the hands. And we're trying to bring that chest towards our chin without moving the chin. We can clasp our hands together under our body and try and bring our shoulders closer together, trying to bring the shoulder blades together. Trying to keep the knees together so we don't want them to splay out. And although this is a little more active, the body's a little more challenged here, can we still find an ease and a restfulness? Okay, and then we're going to slowly lower back down, unclasp the hands if they were together, rolling the body down. Okay, and then we're going to draw the knees into the chest here and maybe gently rocking from side to side here. Okay, and then let's do one final inversion and one final movement before we come into our final resting Shavasana. We're going to bend the knees and let's cycle out the legs. So we don't want an active cycling. And then reverse those cycling. Okay, and then we're going to try and straighten our legs up. So there can still be a little bit of a bend here in the knees because we don't want to be too active with our legs up. And our palms are either resting on the mat or they're supporting our lower back by just resting under those sit bones. So we won't be here much longer. Just allowing the blood from our feet to flow down our legs. A very restful posture. You can do this with the feet up the wall if you have a wall accessible. An excellent posture to end just before coming into your Shavasana, as it really takes the body into that parasympathetic system for greater relaxation and calmness in the body. Okay, and then we're going to slowly bend the knees, release the hands if they were under the sit bones, and extend the legs out to the corners of your mat. Turn the palms up, eyes closed if they're not already closed. We find our final resting Shavasana posture. Lengthening the breath if it had become shallow here. Taking this time now to really honor the body and what it needs. The relaxation of Shavasana is how our body truly reaps the benefits of all the asana that we had done before this. Focusing on the breath or using the mantra. Doing whatever you need to connect into that silence. And let us slowly draw the attention back to the world around us and to the physical nature of the bodies. The breath had become shallow or sustained. Just begin to lengthen the breath and deepen it, deeply breathing into the belly area. And we ground into our bodies, however we feel comfortable to do so, maybe pulling up on the perineum energetically or physically. Taking a time to breathe into the navel area. And then we draw our feet together. Hands reach overhead on the floor and come into a tall stretch. Stretching everything one last time. And then we crawl onto one side and push ourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Keeping the eyes closed if you feel comfortable to do so. We take a moment now to be in gratitude to each other for this co-created space, to ourselves for choosing to practice, and of course, to all of our guides and masters of light, including our own Guru, Sri Vasudeva. May we always be worthy of the divine grace. Let's close our practice with our prayer of togetherness as we prepare for a wonderful day ahead of us. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Marvidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we achieve strength together. And may our knowledge be full of light. May we remain united beyond all differences. Om, peace, peace, peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar.